How'd I go from being a security guard to a software engineer in just 6 months? Well, this video, I will be explaining my story of breaking into tech, but also I'll be sharing what I've learned, steps along the way, and also any advice and tips and resources at the end. So make sure to stay tuned for that. So I remember working as a security guard and absolutely hating it. I hated everything about the job. There was no creativity, no problem solving or whatnot. I was on my feet for 10 hours a day, and that's when I realized something needed to change. There was no growth, and I felt like there was no career within that, and something had to change. And then that's when I got introduced to something called the CS50 Introduction to Computer Science. And that's when I first got really intrigued in tech. So yeah, I started to learn how to code. I remember taking a 10-hour YouTube course on HTML, CSS, and just literally learning how to make a basic website. And then from there, I just created a whole bunch of basic websites, and that's when I realized this is actually kind of fun, being able to go to a website and rebuild that and create even new creative websites, which is pretty cool to do. So initially it was hard to be consistent as well, just making sure to put in the hours. As a security guard, I was working 12 hours and I need to find time outside of that to learn how to code, which is quite hard. If I'm being honest, I lacked with consistency and discipline, and that's when I needed a structure to take me from A to B. And that's when I had the notion of boot camps. But there was a problem. So with a boot camp, it's completely structured. They teach you everything that you need to know in order to land your first role. But there's only one problem. It was very expensive. I remember paying £7,000, which is around $9,000, which was quite expensive, especially as a security guard. But I really wanted to invest in my future. And I realized that the free boot camps was very competitive. And if I'm being honest, I wasn't able to land any free boot camp. So I decided to invest in myself, invest in my future, and pay for the boot camp. The first week was an absolute breeze, just HTML, CSS stuff, which I've learned previously. And then I remember diving into JavaScript, which was an actual programming language. And I just remember feeling very, very stressed. And I remember struggling to keep up and feeling very stressed and thinking maybe this course wasn't the right one for me. And that's when I realized that's when consistency mattered the most, because in those sort of situations, especially when you're learning a very new skill, you'll get that steep learning curve where initially there's a lot of traction and it's very hard for you to learn or to stay consistent, but that's when it's the most important. And if you stay consistent and dedicated, you will be able to push through and go through that learning curve, which was really important for me. And I think that was one of the pivotal moments that helped me go through the boot camp and really appreciate how hard it is to learn a language, especially initially. So with that, we learned JavaScript to React. We also learned a little bit of Java as well, and we created full stack projects, which was very helpful. And from there, we built a portfolio with a couple of basic projects in order for us to build our portfolio properly. At the end of the bootcamp, we learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript. We learned React, which is a library for the front end. We also learned a little bit of Java as well. And with that, we were building full stack projects, which is really helpful. So we could add that to our portfolio to make our CV stand out even more. And then I remember the bootcamp finishing, and it was a real struggle to try and land a role. I remember for 2 months, just literally applying over 10 applications every single day, just applying, not getting anything back. But I didn't let that deter me. I knew I only needed one out of the hundreds and hundreds, potentially even thousands of applications that I've done. I only needed one offer, one acceptance offer, and with that, I'd be able to achieve my dream of breaking into tech. My advice for that is you have to be really, really consistent, especially right now with times being so bad. You have to sort of endure, and hard work always pays off. So yeah, that was a quick story on how I broke into tech. And my top 3 advices is A, just get started. I know it was very easy to, instead of just starting and literally diving into the code, just watching another YouTube video to gain more information and another YouTube video. And going through that process, you realize that you would make way more progress with just starting. So just dive in, figure out if code is really for you and if you like coding. And then from there, you can actually make good progress. So my second tip is hard work always pays off. So especially within these current times where it's so hard to land the first role or break into tech, keep being persistent, and one day this will pay off. My third advice is subscribe to this channel, as I will be dropping a lot more gems and hopefully a lot more videos that will be helpful as well. So thanks for watching my brief story on how I broke into tech, and I'll see you in the next video.